Hi, I'm David Noble, welcome to the channel. Now, I appreciate it's been a while since my last video, but off work this week, so no excuses. What's the discussion? Well, as anyone who follows me on Twitter knows, I've been threatening this video for a while, and I've been struggling for inspiration recently, so let's go to the default. Let's talk British F3. As I've discussed many times in previous Junior Formula videos, this isn't a series that fits comfortably into the Formula 1 ladder or pyramid. So where could it lead to? I have a theory, and it's this. Now, bear with me here, okay? Looking through the list of the 40 drivers who have taken part in IndyCar this year, Wikipedia has informed me that 14 of these drivers have raced in British F3, with Takuma Sato and Jack Harvey both being British F3 champions. 15th driver Joseph Newgarden was supposed to drive in British F3 in 2010, but sponsorship fell through at the last minute, so he didn't. You know, looking at the list of former British F3 champions, Jordan King, who was a 2013 champion, raced in IndyCar in 2018-2019, and if you want to include Champ Car, then the 1992 British F3 champion was a certain Gilles de Ferran, who was Champ Car champion in 2000-2001. So, my theory has a certain amount of history to it, but I need to point out that the British F3 we have now isn't the British F3 of old. You see, in the 80s through to the early 2000s, British F3 was one of the premier racing series in the world. You know, drivers who did well in it, whether it was Ayrton Senna in the early 80s or even Takuma Sato in the 2000s, could end up going straight to Formula 1. You know, even as late as 2012, when Jack Harvey won it, one of the people he had to beat was Carlos Sainz Jr. But by 2014, it had lost out to the European F3 series and died out. 2016, though, it was reborn as the BRDC British F3 Championship, outwon the Dallara F3 chassis that had previously been used, and instead the series used the development of the Tautus chassis that had previously been used on the series' British F4. So, as the series is arguably no longer as strong as it was in its previous existence, does that mean the number of drivers heading to it from the States is reduced? Not a bit of it. Since 2016, we've met many American races in the wilds of Norfolk, as the series has rocked up at Snetterton, including Caelan Fredericks, Cameron Dass, Benjamin Pedersen, and there's been several drivers who have been highly successful in the series still going stateside looking for success. 2016 champion Matthias Leist raced full-time in Indy in 2018 and 2019. Looking at the Indy Lights Championship, the drivers currently in joint second and in fourth in the standings were both British F3 stars, with fourth place Toby Sowry, a multiple race winner who finished third and fourth in the championship in 2016 and 2017, and Linus Lundqvist, who took the British F3 title in 2018, currently second. A look at Indy Pro 2000 shows that the entry list includes the British F3 2017 champion Inam Ahmed, although to be honest the States have yet to see the best of Inam this year, fully expecting him to get stronger as the year goes on. Now, I love watching British F3, you know, I love going there, going to the track and seeing the cars up close in their paddock area, but domestic F3 series is something of a dying breed. In 2016, Lando Norris competed in a part championship in British F3 and took 4 wins in the rounds he competed in, but the international rounds of the Formula Renault NEC and Euro Cup that he was also doing that season took priority. And it's kind of a similar situation this season. After one round, Oliver Behrman is second in the championship, but he won't be at round 2 at Silverstone because he's taking part in Italian F4, which is currently seen as the more prestigious, more competitive championship. Now, where there have been drivers that have gone on from the British F3 Championship to compete in FIA F3, as a rule the competitive budget that they seem to have sort of sees them going to the less competitive Euro Formula Open Championship, and even that can prove a step too far financially for some. You know, Linus Lundqvist is a fascinating example of a driver from Europe ending up on the US ladder. You know, looking at his career to date, in 2016 he won the Formula STCC Nordic and NEZ Championships. In 2017 he was 5th in British F4. 2018 he won British F3. Start of 2019 he won the Euro Formula Open Winter Series, although there were only 2 rounds in fairness. It was tougher for him that year in the main Euro Formula Open Championship, where he'd finished 5th overall and 2nd in the rookie standings. But that year ate up the last of his available budget. As a last roll of the dice, he moved stateside in 2020 to compete in the Formula Regional Americas Championship. And whilst the level of competition might not have been the highest, he still smashed it, taking a total of 15 victories in 17 races. And victory in that championship provided him with a scholarship from Honda, which has allowed him to compete in Indy Lights this season. In the space of 2 seasons, he's gone from having to potentially withdraw from racing because he couldn't afford the cost of racing in the upper levels of Europe, to currently being second in his first season of Indy Lights, which is second only to IndyCar itself in American open wheel categories. And this has been possible because racing in the US is generally cheaper. Winning the scholarship meant he wasn't struggling for budget. Now, when you look at his journey, it's not perhaps a surprise that so many drivers are tempted to race stateside. In the US, British F3 is still seen as a top-end series, and they're happy to see it on a CV. The point is also made that on the road to Indy Championships, multiple teams could win, unlike in something like FIA F3, where if you're not with a team at the top, forget about it. So, going forward, especially with the costs of racing in junior formulas having become so expensive and seeing drivers like Jean-Luc Petikov and Pierre-Louis Gervais losing seats due to budget, expect several drivers to continue heading that way over the next few years. And let's be honest, there's much worse championships to find yourself in than Indy. Well, anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed my ramble and found it quite interesting. Thank you for watching, take care, hopefully see you again soon, but goodbye for now.